Ruin and corruption have fallen upon your great house this evening. Let's talk. Happy Halloween! What up, viewers? What up, what up? I am Calc Soups, and today is Friday, October 29th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week, video game news. And quite a week we had. I was potentially a little bit overexcited to call the first week in October a very exciting week because we had a lot of games launched this week. So let's jump right in and start talking about them. Earlier on Tuesday this week, Guardians of the Galaxy launched. This is Square Enix's next attempt at a Marvel game, and it seems to be being slightly more well received than Marvel's Avengers was. I think the straightforward single player campaign with a little bit of team management in there that I wasn't quite expecting is potentially going to win over some of the fans, some of the people who were excited about Avengers and maybe were a little bit let down. I think somewhat the character design has something to do with it. They're not quite off-brand MCU characters. They actually have kind of their own distinct look and feel to them, although some of them are pretty close, so no need to worry about them there. But the game is being received well. It's currently at an 81 Metacritic, so I think that, you know, for all of the bad taste that Marvel's Avengers might have left in people's mouths, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is actually getting pretty positive reviews and going off pretty well, and could potentially be next month's Friendzone game. So check that out later next month, and you might potentially see me playing it. So excited to kind of jump in and see what it's all about and get right into it. Also launching this week, we had Age of Empires 4, and I had to actually go back and Google it. When was Age of Empires 3, which was in 2005. So in a year where we had a lot of kind of old series being brought back to the modern day, Age of Empires 4 is definitely fitting right into that. It is currently out on Game Pass for PC. It's also on Steam as well. It's currently at an 82 Metacritic, so if you're looking for some RTS fun, that's potentially where I put my marbles for the next coming days. I actually really liked Age of Empires 3. I remember playing it back in the day, really enjoying it, so I'm really excited to see it come back, and looking forward to seeing more about it, potentially getting my hands on it since I have Game Pass and can play that on PC. As you can tell by my cold open, I am a huge Darkest Dungeon fan. You know, I don't have any memorabilia yet for Darkest Dungeon, but I am very much a big fan of the Darkest Dungeon Now series. As Darkest Dungeon 2 launched this week, early access on Epic, so you know, you take launch with a grain of salt, but it looks very good. I've already started seeing some gameplay. Some of the animations are just kind of dialed up. I just wanted more Darkest Dungeon. It seems like they're giving me that in spades. No pun intended. You'll be able to travel the world in Darkest Dungeon, so you're taking kind of your stagecoach. There's more emphasis on on character relationships, as well as still having like health and sanity that you have to manage and worry about. But overall, it looks like more Darkest Dungeon, and that's all I kind of wanted. So I don't know if I'll buy into it, even though it's an Epic exclusive for now, or if I'll wait till it comes to like Steam or potentially Switch. Is when I usually get into kind of some of these smaller indie games. But very much looking forward to seeing more Darkest Dungeon 2 content. So I'll check that out, hopefully sometime soon. Besides all the games that launched this week, and I'm not even talking about Riders Republic or Mario Party Superstars, both games that launched this week that I didn't have time to cover, but I did want to talk about this week's PlayStation State of Play, which was focused on third-party titles. It was about 22 minutes long, and there was probably maybe a dozen or so games that were talked about. The ones that caught my eye are We Are OFK, which seemed like a really cool. It seemed like it was a Telltale type, which, you know, automatically piqued my interest. But it talks about the band OFK and how they kind of formed and started out in LA. So I could potentially see some they could reference some places that I know, and kind of the Telltale, you know, narrative is definitely something that's up my alley. So looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Bug Snacks is getting more content, or I think it was DLC. I think that's what we're looking at. Bug Snacks Island, or the Island of Bug Snacks, something like that. But all you need to really know is this is DLC coming to Bug Snacks, and you'll have more content and more snacks to capture. So if you want to fight a giant burger or the celery mantis creature, be sure to check that out. That was something that caught my eye. Not necessarily a game that I'm interested in, but Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was also something that caught my eye. I don't think we'd seen it in quite some time. I think that's why it kind of jumped to the top of my list. I think it was last seen at either the Video Game Awards last year or in the PS5 showcase from June of last year. So it's been quite some time since we've heard about it. No lock-in on date. I think it's just coming in 2022, but I bet we'll see some more the Video Game Awards later this year. If not, you know, the campaign will continue probably into next year as well. So looking forward to that. For the isometric Dark Souls game that came out earlier this year is now coming to PlayStation 5 as well. So I'll be looking forward to playing that on 11/23 of this year, November 23rd of this year. I don't know why I hadn't gotten into it yet. Maybe the fact that it was only on PC is what kind of slowed me down at first. But now that it's coming to consoles, I'll be more likely to play that as well. There was a kart racer literally called Kart Rider Rift. I thought this was just kind of a you know, straight copy paste of Mario Kart into PlayStation environment, so I didn't think too much of it. But if you want a kart racer with some generic looking characters, this might be definitely up your alley. And last but certainly not least, I was very excited to get more details on Little Devil Inside. They gave us a little bit more gameplay about how you can like hold enemies upon your sword to use them to deflect other enemies, as well as the story is that you're kind of this mercenary for hire, and you're hired by this evil billionaire or evil rich person living in their mansion, and they potentially keep sending tasks, impossible tasks, that you continue to find your way through. So a little bit more of the story, but very excited to kind of see more for Little Devil Inside. So if there's anything else at the State of Play that you thought I forgot, feel free to talk about it down below in the comments. Looking forward to seeing that. Pikmin is the next Niantic location-based AR game. So they've done Harry Potter Wizards Unite, they've done Pokemon Go, as everyone knows, they've done Ingress. So now it is on to Pikmin. I swear, if I go back in my video details, I potentially talked about different IPs that could do a good kind of location-based AR game, and I swear I said something about Pikmin, but maybe that was in a private conversation. But I think I called this a year ago, if not even further back. So, but looked like a fun AR game. Looked very much, I think it'll capture a little bit more of the Pokemon Go spirit and a little bit less of the Harry Potter spirit. It looks maybe it won't have as much like gameplay differences. Like at least Pokemon, you can battle Pokemon, you can capture gems. This was just a little bit more, a little softer in that you're just walking around collecting Pikmin and growing them. You know, pretty fun to get outside and walk around and collect Pikmin again, but didn't have kind of that extra hook to kind of pull you in, kind of like Harry Potter had with the spells and all that, and Pokemon has with its battling. I don't quite see that kind of growing it like Pikmin did. No pun intended. Moving right along, Facebook was announced to be the second largest streaming service. According to Streamlabs and the report for Q3 of this year, Facebook just slightly eked out YouTube for being the #2 slot. So now I guess the big competition, not that it's really big competition, because Twitch still had like 75% of the share of streaming time viewership, but Facebook is now #2. So YouTube, I think, did a response to that in that they're going to invest more in more interface and more in streamers to try and get that number up. I don't know if it was a direct response or if it just happened to also align this week, but YouTube is definitely investing more in their streaming service. So hopefully we see the fruits of that sometime soon. Nerf, those crazy bastards at Nerf have finally done it. They are bringing the Needler, everyone's favorite weapon from Halo. Yes, I mean everyone, including myself. The Needler is coming from Nerf in a limited time, $100 Halo Needler. So if you're looking for something to check out, something potentially get, this is probably a good stocking stuffer if it's even being released this year. Or if it was just announced. I don't have quite the exact details on the release, but I know it's going to be limited edition, so expect those scalpers to to scalp. And but it's gonna be $100, and don't wait on it if you're really excited to have a pink Nerf dart shooting needler around your house, which I think Nerf has been doing a really good job at. Like, man, as someone who's excited about like the Mandalorian, their kind of Nerf Mandalorian set is really good. So they've been kind of killing it on like these limited time, really cool Hasbro, released direct to consumer type content. So definitely interested and looking forward to seeing more and getting more details on the Halo Needler coming from Nerf. GOG had a pretty good list of HP Lovecraft related games this week. So if you're looking for some spooky games to play this weekend, that could definitely be something to check out. It was quite a long list. I didn't recognize about half of them, which as a pretty big Call of Cthulhu fan was surprising, but it did remind me that I still haven't played 2018's Call of Cthulhu game that came out on Next Gen in 2018. That's a game I've been really thinking about picking up, so this might be the catalyst I needed for checking it out. But if there's any other Call of Cthulhu games that you're excited about on that list, feel free to call them out down below in the comments. Phasmaphobia, speaking of games to play with friends and spooky scary games, Phasmaphobia had an update this week where they added a new location. You can go to a campsite now, which could be very scary, especially with like the open air and not having walls and doors to hide behind. So that could be pretty scary, especially if you can like hide. I'm going way off the rails, but if you can like hide in tents and stuff like that, that should be very fun, very exciting stuff. And they also are adding 4 more ghost types for you to try and figure out which type of ghost is haunting the area. So I'm potentially looking forward to playing Phasmaphobia this weekend and checking out that new content. So yeah, look for that coming up this weekend. Last but certainly not least, the Dark Picture Anthology. We talked about House of Ashes launching last week, and every so often the Supermassive games, the developers behind Until Dawn, they've been releasing the Dark Picture Anthology annually for the past 3 years now. I think this is the 3rd year they're going, from 2019's Man of Medan, 2020's Little Hope. Now we have House of Ashes, and we also have the next one, which is called The Devil in Me, where you have to survive in a serial killer's house throughout the night. So definitely hitting a couple of those slasher tropes that we know Supermassive loves. So I still haven't played Little Hope, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'm very much a big fan of the Dark Picture Anthology, releasing horror games every year for you to sit down and play with your friends, especially in a couch co-op setting. Could be very fun, so I'm looking forward to potentially checking that out sometime soon. That's it for the week. If there's anything I forgot, feel free to leave a comment down below. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Happy Halloween!